Yeah. So do you have like one big holiday indulgence?
Fruitcake.
Really?
I'm the guy. I'm the guy who likes fruitcake.
Hello, everyone. Mark and Morgan here, founders of Primal Kitchen, and welcome to the Primal Kitchen podcast. This week, Mark and I are going to be chatting about how to survive the holidays while on an ancestral diet, our favorite seasonal foods, and the special traditions we share with our families. Quick reminder, any and all opinions and views shared by hosts and guests on this podcast are the speaker's own and do not represent the view of Primal Kitchen or its affiliates or parent company. It's almost Turkey Day.
What's up? Yeah, so it's almost Turkey Day twice, right? Because I don't know about your household, but we do it on Thanksgiving and on Christmas again.
Yeah, you do the full.
You guys do that?
You do the full Thanksgiving dinner again on Christmas?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, don't you? Doesn't everyone?
No, I
No,
did
we're getting started with holiday traditions now.
I love it.
That's
dive
one
right
of ours. We basically do the exact same thing for Christmas. Yeah.
That makes it so easy. Interesting. So what does the spread look like?
It's turkey for sure as a centerpiece. Mashed potatoes, candied yams, creamed onions, cranberry sauce, maybe 3 different kinds of cranberry sauce, usually a green vegetable like peas or green beans with almonds, and then a full array of desserts. What about you guys?
We do turkey stuffing. The only real differentiated item.
Oh yeah, stuffing. I forgot that. Okay.
Stuffing, yeah. We used to do, that layered jello, like the colored. My grandma made that like every
aspic.
Yeah, like serve it on a piece of lettuce.
Ambrosia or whatever.
Yeah.
I forget what
it takes forever to make, so you have to wait for each layer to dry. And then my mom has been making this recipe called onion strata, which is like onions, Gruyere cheese, like all sliced and layered, and it smells
good already.
Terrible. And we'd have to drive to my grandma's house with the onion strata in the backseat. We always joked like we
like who cut the cheese.
The Yakima top carrier to put the onion strata up there so we could survive with the Gruyere cheese. Yeah.
Right. Over the river and through the woods, right?
No kidding.
Yeah.
So is this this Thanksgiving Christmas thing, same dealio? Did this come about during childhood, or where did this come from?
From day one. I think it's one of those things that's handed down in my family from generation to generation. The concept that we would have something other than turkey for Christmas dinner was, I guess you would do a roast goose or, whatever the English tradition, because my family is from, northern parts of Europe and England. I'm Celtic Norse, as we say. Maybe that's what it derives from. But and you couldn't really get a Christmas goose in New England, where I grew up in Maine. So I think I think we just had the turkey twice, and it was fine. It was easy, and it's not a really difficult menu to prepare. At that level, right? It's pretty easy to make. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we've been doing, speaking of difficulty, since we've been, kind of traveling for the last few years, but we have been ordering the full feast from Whole Foods, and then
why not
pick it up the day before or the day of. And that with toddlers at home has been life-changing, because we've entertained at our house, Adam and I, and trying to prepare. I just don't even know if I would enjoy the holiday, trying to chase around 2 toddlers.
Yeah, so we have, here's our most recent, in fact, I just came back from lunch with my wife for the final preparations. So we live in a condominium, and we have 20 people coming from our family. And then we've joined forces with our friends down the hall, and they have, I think, 16 people coming. So we have 36 people coming. So we got the conference room within the condo, and we've allocated that for this giant feast. So it's going to be really interesting to see how my wife and my daughter Devin, who's a chef, and our friend Stacy, how they prepare all these different dishes from different condo units, take it down the elevator and put it into this larger room that has all sorts of tables and chairs set up. But it should be fun.
Yeah, and you guys are cooking everything?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it wasn't my idea. I'm okay with ordering out to Whole Foods like you, but
where's
this
Diva?
Really, where's Diva when you need her?
Did Diva used to do Thanksgiving for you guys in Malibu?
Oh, and Christmas, yes.
Yeah.
Diva was our housekeeper, and still is for 18 years now. And we, one of the great things about Diva was we originally hired her to clean the house. And in those days, we used to have this chef, Oren. I don't know if you ever met Oren, but
no, but I've heard all about him. Yeah.
He cooked for us for, once or twice a week. A wonderful luxury if you can afford it. And basically, Diva became his sous chef. So Diva learned how to cook all the things that Oren knew how to cook. And Oren was like a very well-respected international chef. And, he basically outgrew us because we got him so much business cooking for other families. Yeah. Anyway, so Diva became an amazing chef. So yeah, we always would have Diva come and fix, most of the meal. Every once in a while, Devin would have one dish that she would want to do on her own, or or Carrie would do one of the dishes. But yeah, and we're going to be without. This is first you're bringing this up at an inopportune time. This is the first year in like 18 that we've been out without Diva, and and the girls are going to have to do it on their own. So it'll be really
a lot. Yeah. Well, that's exciting. That'll be fun. So do you stress heading into this holiday, or how's your mental health? Like, we're in that time of year, right? It's like it starts at Thanksgiving, the candy hangs around. We're into how do you handle all this?
Well, I mean, it's not my favorite time of year for sure. I mean, I'm one of those people who can't wait to get past it. Sorry. From just before Thanksgiving through the end of New Year's, I'm like, it's the silly season, as I like to say. And, there's a lot of, not particularly with me, but I see it around me, interpersonal issues with family members, and
totally
the forced getting together of long lost relatives that there's a reason that they're lost and that they're so long, and now you have to sort of forced to do that. I mean, we always have a good time with my family, but I see it in other families. It's just the hyperness of the season, and all the events and all of this lavish spreads and all the food that you're subjected to and sort of forced to eat.
Yeah,
not really, but you feel like you don't want to offend your hosts. The commercialness of the season just sort of bugs the crap out of me too. So having said that, yes, it's the one time we do get together with some of our relatives. So it's nice to visit and catch up with them in that regard.
Yeah, it does bring up a lot of childhood stuff, don't you think, for people?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Oh my God. I was talking about it with my husband once, and he's like, God, we all just revert back to how we were as teenagers when we're all around our parents. There's 5 kids in their family, right? It's a lot of dynamic. It's just funny. But yeah, I think my parents definitely growing up, there was definitely just pressure.
Yeah. My dad passed away a few years ago, 5 years ago, but it was just before Thanksgiving. So there was that somber, aspect of that. Then my mother 2 years ago passed away in October. And then so our Thanksgiving was sort of, put under a damper, if you will, for that. And much of that revolved around tradition, right? Around the fact that my mother would always make this amazing cranberry sauce that nobody else knew how to make. And so she would, she would always show up with it. And it was sort of that was part of the tradition. So, it's also, I think, exemplary of the passage of time and the handing down of tradition, right? So we could talk about holiday traditions and what were the original traditions and how did they get passed down, and did they ever, get diverted or stop, or did the marriage of 2 people sort of subsume one of the traditions and get rid of the other tradition? There's a lot of that stuff going on too, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you have one big holiday indulgence?
All right, let's just get this on the table, in the beginning of this thing. Yeah, fruitcake.
Really?
I'm the guy who likes fruitcake.
What? Who eats that?
I'm the guy. Now, it is probably, one of the worst, most anti-keto, anti-paleo things you could ever eat. And yet the taste, the texture, the sweetness,
everything,
the tradition, because it's, it was part of what I would eat in that holiday season since I was, 3 or 4. But yeah, that's my indulgence. Now, how that's manifested itself is over the years, people send me fruitcake because they know that.
Oh,
and I'm like, wait.
You get a lot of it?
I get not a lot, but I get way more than I would want to eat. And so the truth is, over the course of that 6-week period, I might have four pieces of fruitcake, right? But people send me the giant, the rounded donut, donut rings of fruitcake. And I sort of have to re-gift them, although nobody wants a fruitcake.
Nobody wants it because nobody eats it besides you.
Besides
That's
me.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and when I say I only have 3 or 4 pieces, every time I have a piece, I regret it later on. But
you feel sick or what?
Yeah, just logie and it's like why it's really a good time of year for me to remind myself why I do what I do.
Yeah.
Right. Like why did I choose to eat that in a moment of weakness? But it's so damn good when I'm eating it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've been wearing, I know you're not into the wearable tech, but I've been wearing the glucose monitor. Remember?
Oh yeah. Oh
we
shit.
were in
That would go. Yeah.
You're like, why are you doing this? But I just think it's so interesting. I will say one thing. I don't think I ever knew the feeling before I wore the glucose monitor of my blood sugar going up and coming down. And now it's very
now you can associate that
when I'm not wearing it.
Yeah,
and
now
so
you can associate it.
I think that's an interesting insight to be able to have, because you would just think like, oh, I'm exhausted, or like I'd almost feel like jittery when my blood sugar is crashing. And now it's like I can very much pick up on that. So my grandma used to send everyone Coralie candy. Do you ever know this Coralie candy? It's like toffee. Like, she spent like, I don't know, $3,000 a year shipping Coralie candy to everyone all over the world. That was like, she sent it to me when I was in college. That would be my like indulgence. Or kroomkagas. Do you know what a kroomkaga is?
No.
It's a Norwegian. It comes with its own special waffle. It's like a thin, almost like a pancake you make.
Or you like it.
You roll it up. It's got cardamom in it. So it's very, I don't know. It's interesting, but it's a Norwegian Christmas thing. That's like big for us. My Aunt Mary makes them. She always drops them off.
Did you ever have ribbon candy?
No, what's that?
Okay. Ribbon candy is, I don't know. I haven't seen any of it anywhere for years and years, but that used to be part of our tradition too. It was hard candy that was ribbons of thin ribbons that were all sort of, it came in a piece this long, and you broke it off in order to eat some of it, but it's sort of like the same material that a candy cane was made out of.
Oh yeah.
But I wonder how many people, sort of remember ribbon candy. I mean, it was just, again, part of a tradition there. My sister-in-law, her superpower is almond roca. And so she makes almond roca for everybody. And that's basically her main gift. And it's spectacular.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's another thing that I get gifted, and I'm like, I guess I'm going to have to consume it because it's so damn good. But
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but how do you deal with like do you do anything special on the day of the holiday to like blunt the blood sugar effect? Do you just not worry about it?
No. So usually up until recently, we would have, I would usually do in my 20s and 30s, I would do a turkey trot, a 10K run on that morning. And that was sort of a thing that people would do. There'd be a local race, right? And that was always a big thing for us. When there wasn't a race, I would definitely go out and earn my indulgence later on by doing 2 hours of running or cycling or something hard like that. Most recently, in the last 15 years, we would have our Malibu ultimate frisbee game. So all the guys who are in my ultimate crowd would gather on that Thursday morning. We have a game of ultimate, and finish by 11 or 11:30 or something like that, and be truly knackered and ready for, imbibing and consuming copious amounts of food and beverage.
Yeah. Do you think, are you guys more of like a 4 p.m. or 3 p.m. dinner, or like 6 or 7 p.m.?
It was always weird. It's a weird thing that the one time of year that you have this huge meal, you decide to have it on an off hour, but a lot of people do. They do it 2:30 or 3 p.m. So it's not really, it's a late dinner, or it's a late lunch or an early dinner. And, we've done it all ways, but I don't think we've ever had our Thanksgiving meal before, say, 1 o'clock. This year, just a few hours ago, we decided it would be at 6 p.m. So it's a legitimate meal time. And now the challenge is to not eat and snack on all the stuff that's being cooked for the 3 hours leading up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I never like got that. We always just had dinner. Like it was just dinner. So we ate like, I don't know, probably 7, even 8 p.m. maybe. My
That's
grandma was
great.
always kind of running late. And yeah, then I don't know. But my dad and my uncles and my grandpa always go hunting on Thanksgiving. So maybe that's why like they weren't back
Oh, wow.
until
Yeah.
later. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Nice.
I know.
Did
But
you
yeah,
ever eat anything that they killed?
yeah, pheasant, lots of pheasant.
Okay.
I
That
remember.
day? I
No,
mean, okay.
not that day because we do the turkey that day. But
Yeah.
we had pheasant like in the normal weekly rotation. I would say growing up, that was always
Wow.
like a big thing. You'd find the little pellets in there
Pellets. Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like pheasant. Yeah, but it's interesting. So are you guys paleo? Like, are Devin and Carrie, are they going to do anything kind of like on the health, like gluten free, or are they just going for it?
I mean, I think we go for it. There's nothing really. Maybe the stuffing. We use some gluten free breadcrumbs if we can find that for the stuffing. Um, there's so much sugar floating around the different recipes that we don't really have opportunity to substitute monk fruit or something like that. That's kind of bizarre and ridiculous. If you're going to make that kind of food, you want it to taste the way it's supposed to taste, right? One of our traditional foods is creamed onions.
Yeah,
And
you mentioned that, and I was thinking, what the hell? I know creamed spinach, but what is creamed onions?
well, it's like creamed spinach only with onions, but with little pearl onions, and it was one of the things that
Oh,
that my mother made, and it was part of her family tradition, and so we had that every Thanksgiving, and so you might have some flour in the thing that makes it creamed, right? The creamy
got
part
it.
of it,
Yep.
but not a lot of. There's nobody in my family is celiac. We try to
Yeah.
avoid gluten for sure, but and we wouldn't have, for instance, rolls or bread. I mean, there's so much food to begin with. We
Yeah,
wouldn't,
I agree.
we try not to overdo the other stuff, the peripheral stuff.
Yeah, that's a good tip. What other
Yeah.
tips do you have for people on like surviving and maintaining their mental sanity?
Oh, I mean, first of all, if you understand how you react to certain foods, just be aware of that. And I would say, turkey's great. So, go all in on the turkey. Yams, if that's part of your spread, yams are fine. Butter's great. We know that. Green vegetables, they're great. Where you get into trouble, it would be the desserts. And we always have a huge spread of them. I mean, my favorite dessert. I mean, I would say that the whole thing about the fruitcake that's not part of a meal to me. That's like something to eat, maybe with coffee in the morning or something
Yeah.
like that to as a standalone snack / meal. But one of my favorites is mincemeat pie. I don't know if you've had that.
That is very
Yeah, but
English.
I'm telling you, this is where the traditions of my family
Yeah.
come from. So we always have a mincemeat pie. I always have an apple pie. I always have a pumpkin pie.
Wait, but what the hell is in mincemeat pie?
Well, it was originally venison. It was originally now it's there's no real meat
Oh, okay.
it's meat pie anymore. It's become Americanized with apples and chunks of dried raisin and clove and cinnamon and things like that. But originally it had venison. It was deer meat was one of and it was sweetened, and it had currants, which is the British form of what the British would call raisins. And I've had the original, and it's fantastic, but you can't find it anymore. And so there's this sort of second choice version. But at any rate, still very full of sugar, very full of processed flour and stuff like that. So the tip is just have a couple of bites. You don't have to have the whole thing. Have a couple of bites of this, a bite or two of that. Get a sense of of what all these things taste like, and then push them away and say, look, this was amazing, and there's more for later if I'm so inclined. But right now, I'm not going to waddle away from the table and wish I hadn't eaten all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's really it's interesting that people almost invariably, particularly if they're not into our ancestral lifestyle, will roll their eyes and say, oh my God, I eat so much at Thanksgiving and I eat so much at Christmas dinner. And why do you have to eat more there than at any other meal? It's the same, it's just the same amount of food offered up to you.
Yeah.
Why do you all of a sudden have to be,
I know,
such a glutton? So I'm never one to talk really much about portion control, but this is the day to really start to look at portion control. Say, a little bit of mashed potato, a little bit of yam, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and then maybe lots of turkey, because why not? Protein's always the driver for me for satiation.
Yeah, I like it.
And no tofurkey.
Oh God, yeah, you're telling me. Do you think, I remember the bodybuilders will I'm talking the macro counting type bodybuilders, and I'm not talking carb loading, but sometimes they factor in a refuel day. Do you know that? That concept.
Yeah.
Do you think that there could be anything where I feel like so many people, especially in this space, have so much guilt around the holidays, right? So it's you got family dynamics, and then you eat so much and you feel guilty the next day. There's just so much emotion that comes up, right? And then you've got so much emotion anyway, you're probably eating more because you have so much emotion. But do you think there could be any, benefit of one day of refueling? And is it, are there any strategies for the next day? Is fasting good after a big?
Oh, I think that's a great idea. I think if you want to look at it as, fast going into it, I'll taper, I'll train going into, Thanksgiving Day, and then I'll taper and fast coming out of it. That's fine. You don't have to do that, but if you feel like, you tend to overindulge and you're going to feel guilty about it, this is, again, one meal out of one day out of your entire life. It's nothing to feel like you've derailed all of your plans forever. You just go back to, your main strategy, which is to limit your food intake over time, and to, as we talk about in, 2 meals a day and most of keto, all the good things happen in your body when you're not eating. So enjoy the time when you are eating, but then, don't feel, for instance, compelled to spend the next 4 days eating leftovers by the drove, right? It's I think one of the things that one of the many areas of guilt around the holidays is throwing stuff out, right? It's oh my God, there was so much food, I feel guilty throwing it out. There's, people throw it out, give it to wrap it up and give it to somebody else, take it to a shelter. I don't know, but don't feel guilty because you have some left over and you feel like you need to
eat it,
consume it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of which, you guys have any traditions that aren't food related?
By the way, speaking of tradition, I'll give you one more. One of Carrie's tradition is if somebody brings the most amazing dessert of any, and typically in my recollection, it's one or two of our best friends will make phenomenal carrot cake, right? A huge, a foot tall, thick carrot cake, and we'll eat what we eat, and then the mandate is take it home.
Oh, I love that.
Do not leave it here.
Yeah.
You take it home. You brought it. We loved it. Now it's on you.
Yeah.
So that's one of our.
I do that a lot too. I mean, it's so true. Even we actually had carrot cake for Riker's birthday, his second birthday, because we had a little friends party, and there was half of it left over. I threw it away. I was I don't even want this in the house. It's just worth it for me. Yeah. But I also do send people home with stuff. I'm I'm not going to eat this. It's going to go in the garbage. So either you take it home or put it in the garbage right now, because I can't have it around. That's a good point. The 5 days post is probably where the more damage is done than one meal, because you've got all this food hanging around that you just normally don't have.
Exactly. So you asked for non-food tradition. Well,
non-food.
I mean, well, it's food related, and that's the carving of the turkey, right? So that's the patriarchy at work. So my dad always carved the turkey until my parents got divorced, and then I carved the turkey, and then now I'm sort of waiting to pass the baton to one of my kids, but it's got to be when they have kids, when they're a parent, not when they're just a son. So maybe this is the year that I give it to my son-in-law. I don't know. I have to decide about that.
That is a big one. My Uncle Rick would carve the turkey.
That
was always his job. And we break the heart or the wishbone. Sorry, not
The wishbone, yeah.
eat the heart, break the wishbone. I mean,
Yeah.
that is one cool part of Thanksgiving. It's like the only mainstream event of the year where people are more comfortable eating like animal organs, right? They're not
Sure. Yeah.
normally, the paleo community is very comfortable. The rest of the world is
Yeah.
not, but on
Right,
Thanksgiving, it seems to be cool to like, ooh, take a bite of the heart or whatever. This is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big tradition to pass on, though. I think you've got a few more years of carving the turkey, Mark. Like, I don't know what direction you pass that one off for yet.
I don't know. Maybe Kyle's up. Maybe he's due. I don't know. We'll
Yeah,
see.
maybe. Is Kyle's girlfriend coming to Thanksgiving this year?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. We started this year, Adam and I, with the boys, a turkey, like a whole month of like giving thanks. So we have, I cut out like this little cardboard turkey, and then we cut out a bunch of feathers, and every day we ask Riker like what he's thankful for, and then put another little feather on the turkey.
Oh,
So we
nice.
have,
I
like,
love
this
that.
whole turkey. Yeah, I'm decided I want to do like our family values calendar. So like this month is all about giving thanks, and next month's all about giving instead of receiving.
Yeah.
Because to your
Yeah.
point, it can just get nauseating with
Yeah.
like, what are we doing this for? It's just like mass consumerism for nothing. It feels wasteful.
Yeah. No, you've shared with me offline that Riker's he's already into the giving thanks kind of
He
thing.
is into
He's-
giving thanks, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's a concerted effort on my part. He
Yeah,
might
well,
be
whatever.
like totally messed up in other areas, but I'm
Yeah.
definitely driving the giving thanks
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, you just don't want entitled kids, you know? I
No,
mean,
no,
geez.
no. More
Yeah.
than ever. Yeah.
Yeah, more than ever is right. So that's that. But yeah. So what are you most looking forward to? How long is family in town? Like, what's
So we have 2 rotations this year. So we have the first set coming in Thursday, and that's Kyle and his girlfriend, my wife's parents who are here now, my wife's sister, her family, her brother, my wife's brother, her family, his family. So it's a lot of people. And then Devin and Jerry and JJ are coming in on Friday. And part of this is because we don't have enough room we want to house, immediate family members in our place, and the rest we got like hotel rooms for. So Devin and JJ and Jerry are coming in on Friday, and we're going to do another sort of Thanksgiving event with a different group of people on Saturday.
Oh, geez. So you have double. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're doing Thanksgiving 3 times this year.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
going to be crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. I love
So
it.
I'm going to have to go out and do a fat bike Thursday morning and Saturday morning to earn the calories.
Yeah. But don't you think that's probably what you would do normally during a week?
Oh yeah, no, this exactly.
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah. The
Nothing
turkey
else.
trot. We're going to do the turkey.
Yeah.
We'll do some sort of something, but maybe
Yeah.
play tennis. That's the goal. All right. Well, I'm trying to think. I feel like that kind of covers our holiday traditions, and wishing everyone a stress-free, healthy as can be, with no guilt, enjoyable holiday season. Focus on what's really important and try not to fight with your family too much. I think that's the main
That
thing.
says it all. That says it all. That's a list right there. 5 points you made there. And if you can do 3 out of 5 of those successfully, it's going to be a great holiday for you.
I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, everyone.
All right.
Happy holiday
All right.
season. Thanks so much.
Happy holidays. Bye-bye.